What one mistake ended your career? I accidentally sent a text about my boss to my boss instead of my best friend, and it destroyed everything I worked for. I was 26 and finally had my dream job at this marketing agency downtown. Took me 3 years to get there after college. The pay was decent, the team was cool, and I actually loved what I did. My boss Janet seemed nice enough at first, always smiling, always asking how my weekend was. But after a few months, the real Janet came out. She'd take credit for my ideas in meetings. She'd pile extra work on my desk Friday afternoons, then act shocked when I couldn't finish by Monday. The worst part was how she talked to people. She'd be sweet as pie to clients, then turn around and snap at us for breathing too loud. My friend Alex worked at a different company, but we texted constantly during work. He was my main outlet for venting about Janet's latest drama. I'd send him play-by-play updates of her ridiculous demands, like the time she made me redo a whole presentation because she didn't like the font, or when she yelled at our intern for using the wrong stapler. The breaking point came on a Thursday morning. Janet called me into her office and blamed me for a client complaint that was totally her fault. She'd promised the client something we couldn't deliver, then threw me under the bus when they got upset. I sat there nodding while she lectured me about accountability and professionalism. The whole time I'm thinking about how she'd probably take a 3-hour lunch right after this. I walked back to my desk fuming. My phone was buzzing with texts from Alex, asking how the meeting went. I was so angry I could barely type straight. I started hammering out this long message about what a fake, credit-stealing witch Janet was, how she had the management skills of a goldfish and the personality of expired milk. I went into detail about her awful outfits and how she always smelled like too much perfume mixed with coffee breath. I hit send without looking at the name at the top of the chat. 5 minutes later, Janet's office door slammed open. She marched over to my desk holding her phone, face redder than a tomato. The entire office went dead silent. Everyone's heads popped up over their cubicle walls like prairie dogs. Expired milk? She hissed, waving her phone in my face. Management skills of a goldfish? My stomach dropped to the floor. I looked at my phone and saw the horrible truth. Instead of Alex's name at the top, it said Janet. I'd somehow clicked on her contact instead. The worst part was I'd sent her this massive wall of text describing exactly what I thought of her, complete with specific examples of her terrible behavior. I can explain, I started, but she cut me off. Pack your things. Security will escort you out in 10 minutes. The whole office was staring. My coworkers looked like they were watching a car crash in slow motion. Some looked horrified. Others were trying not to smile. Janet stood there tapping her foot while I grabbed my coffee mug and the few personal items from my desk. 10 minutes later, I was on the sidewalk holding a cardboard box, wondering how I'd managed to nuke my entire career with one text message. The security guard who walked me out was actually pretty nice about it. He told me this wasn't even the worst firing he'd seen that month. Apparently, someone in accounting had been caught using company computers to run an online poker game. I called Alex from the parking garage and he couldn't stop laughing. Dude, you literally sent her a review of herself. That's like accidentally CCing your teacher on an email calling them crazy. The next few weeks were brutal. I couldn't put Janet as a reference, obviously. When other companies called to verify my employment, Janet would give the bare minimum information. Yes, he worked here. No, I cannot recommend him for future employment. I could practically hear her smirking through the phone. I applied to maybe 50 jobs over the next 2 months. Got 3 interviews. Each time, when they asked why I left my last job, I had to figure out how to explain that I'd accidentally insulted my boss via text without sounding like a complete idiot.